Don't hit the panic button, but Clark is listed on the injury report for the Indiana Fever. The Fever announcing Clark is questionable for the team's first preseason game tomorrow at home.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to WNBA Hoops. And we've got some breaking news that just came in. It's official, Clark has been listed as questionable for the Indiana Fever's upcoming preseason game due to a left leg issue.
The goal of preseason is, certainly we want to win, but it's to see a lot of different players, to make sure that we can really evaluate, it's to make sure that we can start to build our rotations, look at our depth, look at some different lineups. And so this is more of an evaluating kind of phase for us. So nobody's going to play a ton of minutes. So I want to make sure that we can get a true sense of where we are. Certainly just see what's challenging, see the things that we have to learn how to play through, being able to find some calm in the chaos. We do a lot of situations in practice, and we've already seen some things in coaching staff that we're like, not quite sure. But we also don't want to go overboard. Sometimes you have to work through, what does spacing look like? What does timing look like? What do certain lineups on the floor look like? Who can be in the game in certain situations? Who can inbound the ball in certain situations? Those are all things that you can attempt to evaluate in practice, but there's nothing like game opportunities and game reps to be able to do that.
Yeah, I know. When I first saw this, I didn't believe it either. Honestly, I thought it was just another clickbait headline. With all the wild stories floating around lately and views down across the board, I figured someone was just reaching again. No way. Clark could actually be hurt, right? But now it's real. The Indiana Fever themselves confirmed it. Clark is officially on the injury report as questionable for the game against the Washington Mystics. And the reason listed is a left leg issue. Now, before you hit the panic button, here's what I'm hearing from folks on the ground in Indiana. This might just be load management. Caitlin is the heart and soul of this team, and they're being super careful with her, especially since they've got back-to-back games coming up. Reports out of practice say Clark looked completely fine. She was moving well, taking her usual deep shots from half-court, and didn't seem to be bothered by anything. So chances are this isn't anything serious. It's more likely that the team's just being smart and saving her for the big homecoming game at Carver Hawkeye Arena back in Iowa. So don't be surprised if she either sits this one out or plays just a few minutes. That's totally normal, and teams protect their stars during preseason all the time. We're definitely going to stay locked in and watch for updates before tip-off. But as of now, it looks like the Fever are just playing it safe with their franchise player. Now let's rewind and look at where all this started. Straight from the Indiana Fever's official X account. That's where the first alert dropped. They posted the game status report, and there it was. Clark questionable with a left leg injury. And boom, just like that, the internet went wild. Now, a lot of what we know is coming from Scott Agnes, who's been on the ground at every practice posting footage and giving updates like clockwork. And according to him, there's nothing major going on. He said Caitlin looked good, was moving just fine, and showed no signs of being injured. Let's pull up what Scott posted on X. Here it is, the Fever listed. Clark is questionable, but then someone asked about it, and Scott replied, "No need to panic. Caitlin was at practice moving around just fine." He also pointed out that it's the first back-to-back of the season, and that Sunday's game is more about giving fans in Iowa something special. It's an exhibition game, not a must-win. It's about rotating the lineup and letting everyone get some time on the floor. And to top it off, here's footage from practice. Caitlin out there, looking smooth, getting shots up, no signs of anything serious. So yeah, take a deep breath. This doesn't look like a major injury. Just smart planning from a team protecting its superstar. So in a recent interview, Stephanie White basically confirmed something we all kind of expected. Nobody's going to be logging heavy minutes in this preseason. That right there says it all. Whatever's going on with Clark, it's real. But it's probably more about load management than anything serious. Look, we all know, this is just part of the business. It's the long game. The Fever are probably taking it easy on Caitlin, saving her legs for the big return to Iowa at Carver Hawkeye Arena. I wouldn't be surprised if we only see her play for maybe 5 or 6 minutes in that first quarter. Just enough to get the fans hyped. After that, yeah, she'll most likely be on the bench for the rest of the game. Everything points to this being a strategic move, not some kind of crisis. Now let me quickly check out Chloe Peterson's page to see if she dropped anything before we get into all the fan reactions. I know people are freaking out, but listen, there's no need to panic. This happens all the time. Honestly, we should have seen it coming. Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in women's basketball, and right now she's not playing back-to-backs. That's just the reality of the situation. If they're starting her off like this, limiting her minutes and holding her out of back-to-backs, I'm willing to bet she won't play any of them this season. It makes total sense from a load management perspective. Now back to Chloe. She mentioned that Caitlin Clark is listed as questionable for tomorrow's game, and she also pointed out that Caitlin had already dropped an article in the Indy Star that tells me the reporters who were at practice already knew what was up. They were probably just waiting for the right time to break the news. Chloe also said Caitlin is the only player on the injury report. Everyone else is good to go. And for what it's worth, she mentioned that Caitlin looked fine at practice today. Sure, she was wearing sweatpants, but she still took her usual half-court shot like she always does. Now check this out. Here's that clip of Caitlin pulling up from deep at practice. You can see her knock down that shot like it's nothing. There's no sign of anything wrong. She plants off her left leg and drains it. Classic Caitlin Clark form. If you watch closely, you can see that she's not favoring the leg at all. She's moving smoothly, confident, and completely in rhythm. So even with all the talk about her being questionable for the game, this clip makes it clear Caitlin Clark looks good. Now for anyone who doesn't fully get the situation, let me break it down. Caitlin Clark is the franchise player. When you have someone that talented, you do everything you can to protect them. So honestly, I think it's a smart move not to have her play right now. No need to force it in the preseason. Quick update on Dantas Iris, by the way. She's been out the past few days after a loss in her family. I'm a fan of them. According to the Fever, she's going to miss today's practice, but she should be back for tomorrow's first preseason game. I'll probably drop another video soon to dive deeper into Dantas and what she brings to the team. But guys, I'm telling you, there's no need to worry. Everything is going to be just fine. Honestly, when I first saw the news, I thought it was clickbait. Didn't think it was real, especially with how crazy the headlines have been lately. But now seeing everything come together, I'm confident there's no cause for concern. Now before I wrap this up, I want to show you an update from Scott Agnes. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Scott actually gave more clarity on the Caitlin Clark situation after some initial confusion. Let's take a look at what he had to say. Scott wrote, "The Fever wrapped up week 1 of training camp with energy and intention. Now it's game time, starting with the Mystics on Saturday. Then Brazil on Sunday. Stephanie White's focus is on depth evaluation and long-term health." Scott also posted a full video on his blog with more updates. Check it out if you want to see more. But for now, the preseason hoops action starts tomorrow and doors open at 11:30 a.m. at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. All right, y'all, let's have a good day. Okay, sometimes after a day off, it takes a little bit of time to get going, but we don't got time for that. Right? We got to start out first quarter. Okay, first quarter. Be sharp. Let's get back. Here we go. Work on 3, 1, 2, 3.